So the Steam demo for Styx Blades of Greed just came out along with the pre-order availability, and I have mixed emotions. This game is actually one of the stealth titles that I've been looking forward to. It is the third installment to the Styx franchise, and this is one of the best stealth games out there, which could stand or crouch side by side with titles like Dishonored. And so with the release of the demo, I decided to make a short first impression video about the game's stealth. I wanted to share my thoughts as someone who has been yearning for more immersive and fun stealth experiences. But before anything else, I do want to note that I have finished the first Styx game, Master of Shadows. But for the second game, Shards of Darkness, I haven't finished the story yet. I'm adding this as a disclaimer in case I say something that might be related to the later parts of the second game. Anyway, let's begin. I want to start with the thing that really and heavily affected my experience with the demo, which is the performance. For a quick context, my PC is not the best nor anywhere close. I play most of the modern releases like KCD2, Outer Worlds 2, AC Shadows on medium to high quality, never in very high or ultra high. I get like 60, maybe 80 FPS if I'm lucky, and I'm already happy with that. Ultra high graphics have never really been a deciding factor for me rating a game highly. Unfortunately for this demo, I had to play at around 40 FPS on the lowest graphics quality, which was a horrible experience. Now while playing, I do see that the game is beautiful. The levels are compact with lots of verticality, meaning there's a lot of assets littered around and other things that the game is composed of. However, if I can play KCD2 at 70 to 80 FPS, I expect a game like Styx to play at least 80 to 100 FPS in the lowest settings. Though it is important to note that this demo version may be a very old version that has not yet been optimized. Still, shipping a demo version that runs so poorly on medium tier machines is a bit questionable. So I really hope that the actual game, once it releases, will be well optimized. Hopefully, I can run it at least 60 FPS, and I'm setting my expectations low here. Now that we got that out of the way, I want to talk about stealth in the game. I'll be talking about the game's narratology, level design, gadgets and other mechanics, NPC AI, and stealth failstate. Since I only played the demo and not the full game though, I'll try to make this quick. No point in going too in depth since the full game might address some of my complaints. Anyway, let's start with narratology, or how in sync the game's narrative is to the stealth gameplay. And TLDR, it is perfect. In Styx, you play as a goblin master thief named Styx. Now the fact that Styx is a goblin gives him all the reason to use stealth. Goblins are small creatures weaker than an average man and would have a hard time fending off soldiers. And so Styx, regardless of his abilities, will have a very hard time trying to 1v1 soldiers, especially when alerting one means alerting others, which would lead to you being outnumbered. From this alone, stealth is really the best method for a goblin who will be skulking around castles, forts, and cities. Aside from this, Styx being a goblin also means he has less sympathy for humans, meaning he doesn't really care much or think twice whenever he kills a soldier. To him, it's killed or be killed, survival of the fittest. And so narrative-wise, killing every single guard because they pissed you off is kind of lore accurate. Next is level design. And in all the Styx games, level design has always been amazing. This demo is no different. For me, a good stealth level design is one that allows different ways to approach an objective. This can vary from allowing certain character builds, different methods of approach, to smart in-game architecture that allows you to enter in dozens of different angles. And in this demo, I did see that smart level design present in the previous titles. Whenever there's an objective behind a locked door, either I can use a lockpick to open it, steal a key from a guard, or start climbing around until I see an open window to the locked room. Verticality is also something that the Styx games do well. Each level or building that you will explore will almost always have multiple floors. There are multiple nooks and crannies that Styx can hide in. Using his mobility and climbing skills, he can also climb scalable walls. Within levels, there are different objects that can affect stealth as well. There are carpets that would allow you to fall silent from height. This can help you fall right behind an enemy without them hearing you. Then there are also anti-stealth objects like chairs which will make sound if you hit them while you are moving. There are probably some things that I missed, but overall, level design from the demo are consistent with the previous games. So if the full game is the same or better, then I would have no complaints. Now let's talk about Styx gadgets and other mechanics. So the demo only allowed a few of Styx tools and abilities to be used. In my playthrough, I mainly used the sands, darts, bottles, and invisibility. The sands allow you to take out torches, which would add some dark areas, reducing detection. Darts are for killing at a distance, bottles are for distraction, and invisibility is something I use during tricky situations. There are other abilities that were either locked or I didn't bother to use them, like the clone ability, which was a favorite of mine from the first two games. Though I did find it weird that I couldn't control the clone directly, but that might be just a demo thing. Some interesting abilities that I saw are the Mind Control and Flux Blast, which are basically Possession and Wind Blast from Dishonored. Since I haven't played around with the locked abilities, I can't really say much, although looking at them, they will definitely enhance the stealth experience. Oh, and there's also crafting in the game, similar in the previous titles. But this time, it seems that Styx can craft on the go. In previous games, you had to access alchemy tables or something to craft items. So being able to craft on the go is a good QOL. I also noticed a rune page, which I have no idea what's going to be in there, but those are probably additional minor passive abilities that will affect gameplay. Now let's move on to the enemy and NPC AI. This is probably one of the weakest parts of Styx stealth. The point being is that the AI is just pretty dumb. They have the basic stealth game AI package. They have vision cones, detection meters, investigative states, and have the ability to lose sight of the player. Basically what you can expect in any stealth game. I tried testing if they can hear doors open or even investigate open doors, but it seems that they can't. They do see you when you open doors and would start to investigate, but leaving doors open does not prompt them to start investigating the door itself. They also don't light torches that you have snuffed out, which is weird. I do remember that that was a thing in the previous games. There's really not much to say more about the AI in the demo. They do still have the different guard types, with some being harder to assassinate, but aside from that, there's not much more to talk about. I do hope that the demo is just showing a fraction of the AI's capability and there's much more nuance with regards to their behaviors. Lastly, let's talk about the stealth fail state. For this one, I think people will have mixed reactions. The Styx games have always been very stealth heavy. As such, the combat has always been bare bones. In combat, Styx will rely mainly on his speed and timing to deliver lethal blows. But when you are outnumbered, you will likely die. And so when stealth fails and you get detected, the optimal thing to do is to try to escape. You can do this in a couple of ways. The most obvious is to just run away. Use your abilities like invisibility to completely lose your pursuers and reposition. Then just hide until everyone calms down. I'm not sure if further into the game you'll get access to more tools to use to escape, though I do hope yes, a smoke bomb would be great. I finished the demo in about an hour and 20 minutes, which was a good runtime. However, since I was playing at barely 40 FPS, it was rough during certain moments. And so with that, what do I think about stealth in Styx Blaze of Grid? Well, I think it's the same old Styx with a few quality of life improvements. So if you like the first two games, you'll probably like this one too. However, since the performance was abysmal, at least from my end, I do urge you to try out the demo first or at least wait for reviews before you buy the game.